Have you ever stood in your kitchen in the morning, staring at your food, wondering if what you're about to eat is quietly damaging your kidneys? Most people never think about that question until the damage is already done. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and here's the urgent truth. Kidney disease doesn't usually scream for attention. It doesn't cause sharp pain. It doesn't always show obvious symptoms, and by the time many people find out something is wrong, their kidneys may already be struggling to survive. But here's where it gets even more alarming. Some of the most common healthy breakfast choices people eat every single morning can silently accelerate kidney decline, especially if you're in stage 3 or stage 4 CKD. And yet this isn't about fear, because when you understand what your kidneys truly need, first thing in the morning, you can slow the damage, reduce toxin buildup, and give your body a fighting chance to heal. Let's start with something that surprises many of my patients: whole grain oats. Not flashy, not trendy, but for the kidneys, this is one of the calmest, safest ways to begin the day. I still remember a patient in his early 50s, stage 3 CKD, who told me, "Dr. Ellis, breakfast is the one meal that scares me the most." He had already cut salt, sugar, and red meat, yet his labs kept creeping in the wrong direction. When we simplified his mornings, starting with properly prepared whole grain oats, something changed. His blood sugar swings softened, his inflammation markers improved, and most importantly, his kidneys weren't being pushed first thing in the morning. Here's why oats work, and this isn't guesswork. Whole grain oats are rich in beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that slows glucose absorption, stabilizes insulin, and reduces LDL cholesterol. Multiple studies show beta-glucan helps lower chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, two silent forces that accelerate kidney damage. When blood sugar spikes less and inflammation cools down, your kidneys don't have to work as hard filtering toxic byproducts. That's indirect support, but powerful support. Now, this only works if oats are eaten the right way. Instant oatmeal packets. They're often loaded with sodium, phosphate additives, and hidden sugars, exactly what stressed kidneys don't need. What you want instead are rolled oats or steel-cut oats cooked slowly in water or a phosphate-free plant milk. Keep the portion modest, about half a cup cooked. That amount keeps potassium and phosphorus within a kidney-friendly range while still providing enough fiber to do its job. Toppings matter more than most people realize. Blueberries, strawberries, or a few thin apple slices add antioxidants without overwhelming potassium levels. These compounds help protect the tiny blood vessels inside the kidneys, the very structures responsible for filtration. And notice what's missing here. No added salt, no protein, powders, no sweet syrups pretending to be healthy. What makes oats so effective isn't that they heal kidneys overnight. It's that they create a quieter metabolic environment, less inflammation, less glucose chaos, less pressure on already vulnerable nephrons. Over time, that calm adds up. But here's the critical transition. Most people miss oats alone. Don't protect your kidneys if the next thing you eat cancels out the benefit. And that brings us to a food many people rely on for strength and energy. But if used incorrectly, it can quietly speed kidney decline. Because knowing about oats isn't enough, there's another breakfast choice that looks harmless, yet carries a much bigger hidden risk. And this is where many people get confused, because after oats, the next question is always the same: but where do I get my protein? For patients with kidney disease, protein feels like a double-edged sword. Too little and the body weakens. Too much and the kidneys pay the price. This is exactly where boiled eggs, when used correctly, can make a critical difference. I once worked with a woman in early-stage CKD who had completely cut out eggs after reading online that protein damages kidneys. Within months, she felt exhausted, lost muscle, and her recovery slowed. When we reintroduced eggs carefully, intentionally, her energy returned and her labs stabilized. The problem was never protein itself. The problem was how and how much. From a scientific standpoint, eggs provide high biological value protein, meaning your body uses more of it and wastes less. Less waste means fewer nitrogen byproducts for the kidneys to filter. Egg whites in particular are extremely low in potassium and sodium, making them one of the most kidney-efficient protein sources available. This is why eggs are commonly recommended even for patients on dialysis who need to replace lost protein. But here's the detail that matters and where most people get it wrong. The egg yolk contains significantly more phosphorus. For patients in later stages of CKD, excess phosphorus can accelerate bone loss and vascular calcification. The solution isn't fear, it's balance. One whole egg combined with one or two extra egg whites gives you strength without overwhelming your kidneys. Preparation is non-negotiable. Boiled means boiled, not fried, not scrambled in butter, not sprinkled with salt. Pair eggs with low-potassium vegetables or a slice of white or sourdough bread, not processed meats or cheese. Every small choice either lightens or increases the kidney's workload. What eggs really offer isn't just protein, they offer metabolic efficiency. When the body gets what it needs without excess waste, the kidneys aren't forced into overdrive. And over time, that restraint can slow decline. But here's the transition most people don't see coming. Even when protein is chosen perfectly, one popular breakfast combination can undo everything in silence. It looks heart healthy, it's praised online. And yet for certain stages of kidney disease, it can be far more dangerous than eggs ever were. Because knowing how to eat protein safely still isn't enough. There's another breakfast choice that quietly puts your kidneys at risk, and almost no one talks about it. And this is where things become truly dangerous because some of the foods people trust the most can quietly do the most harm. After eggs, many patients tell me, at least avocado toast is healthy, right? Heart healthy, plant-based, Instagram approved. On the surface, it sounds like the perfect choice. But for kidneys, especially in later stage CKD, this breakfast can turn into a hidden trap. I had a patient with stage 4 CKD who was proud of his mornings. Whole grain toast, a full avocado, no salt, no meat. He was doing everything right. Yet his potassium levels kept rising, and his nephrologist couldn't figure out why. The answer wasn't mysterious, it was sitting on his plate every single morning. Here's the science most people never hear. Avocados are extremely rich in potassium, and when kidney function declines, potassium isn't cleared efficiently. Elevated potassium can disrupt heart rhythm and quickly become life-threatening. At the same time, many whole grain or multigrain breads are loaded with phosphorus, often from additives that are absorbed almost completely by the body. That combination, high potassium plus high phosphorus, creates a double burden for weakened kidneys. Now, this doesn't mean avocado toast is forbidden. It means it must be controlled with precision. For certain patients, especially in early CKD with stable labs, a small portion can be worked in safely. That means no more than a quarter of an avocado paired with white or sourdough bread that's lower in phosphorus and sodium. No added salt, no cheese, no processed spreads. Volume can be increased with low potassium vegetables, not more avocado. What makes this breakfast so misleading is that it feels clean. But kidneys don't respond to trends. They respond to minerals, absorption rates, and cumulative load. And that load depends entirely on your CKD stage and blood work. What helps one person can push another closer to dialysis. This is the moment I ask my patients to pause and reflect. Have you been eating something because it's labeled healthy, without checking if it's healthy for your kidneys? If so, you're not alone. Most people never get warned in time. And yet there's still one breakfast option left, one that many patients rely on when eating feels difficult, and surprisingly, it can either protect your kidneys or accelerate damage depending on one small detail. Because understanding avocado toast still isn't enough. The next choice may look gentle, but if done wrong, it can quietly decide how fast kidney disease progresses. And this brings us to the option many kidney patients depend on when mornings feel heavy: smoothies. When appetite is low, energy is gone, or chewing feels exhausting, a smoothie seems like the gentlest solution. And it can be if it's built correctly. But done wrong, it becomes one of the fastest ways to overload already fragile kidneys. I've seen this pattern again and again. A patient tells me, "Dr. Ellis, I'm doing smoothies because I can't eat much." Then I look at the ingredients: bananas, orange juice, spinach, protein powder, all blended together. It looks clean. It tastes easy. But within weeks, potassium and phosphorus levels climb, fatigue worsens, and kidney function quietly slips. Here's the science that changes everything. Blueberries are one of the lowest potassium fruits available, yet they're packed with anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants shown to reduce inflammation and protect blood vessels, including the tiny capillaries inside the kidneys. Studies link these compounds to improved vascular health and reduced oxidative stress, both critical for slowing CKD progression. Unlike many fruits, blueberries deliver protection without mineral overload. That's why a properly designed blueberry smoothie can be one of the safest breakfasts for people with CKD, especially those who struggle to eat solid food. Low potassium, low phosphorus, low sodium, high anti-inflammatory impact. But this is where most people accidentally sabotage themselves. Bananas, oranges, mangoes, dark leafy greens, all extremely high in potassium. Many protein powders are loaded with phosphate additives which are absorbed almost completely and can silently accelerate kidney and bone damage. One scoop can undo everything. The solution is precision, not restriction. Use blueberries as the base. Blend them with phosphate-free plant milk. For texture, add frozen cauliflower florets, neutral taste, kidney safe, and surprisingly effective at creating thickness without potassium spikes. If protein is needed, it must be chosen carefully and approved based on labs, not trends. What makes this smoothie powerful isn't convenience, it's control. It gives your body nourishment without forcing your kidneys into emergency mode. And for many patients, this single change determines whether inflammation calms down or quietly escalates. So here's the moment that matters most. If you've been trying to eat light without understanding mineral load, this may be the missing piece that's been holding your kidneys back. But even knowing all four of these breakfast choices still isn't the final answer, because there's one mindset shift that determines whether your kidneys decline slowly or reach dialysis faster than anyone expects. If there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's this: your kidneys are not failing overnight, and they don't heal overnight either. But every single morning gives you a quiet chance to protect them. Not with extreme diets or fear, but with small informed choices that reduce inflammation, ease the filtering load, and give your kidneys room to breathe. If you're living with CKD or caring for someone who is, I want you to know this: you are not behind and you are not powerless. Understanding what to eat and why it matters already puts you ahead of where most people are when kidney damage becomes irreversible. And that matters more than you think. I strongly encourage you to save this video so you can come back to it when mornings feel confusing or overwhelming. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I share clear science-based medical guidance here to help you protect your kidneys, your heart, and your long-term health without panic, misinformation, or false promises. There is hope. With the right knowledge, the right habits, and the right timing, many people are able to slow kidney decline, avoid complications, and live fuller, more stable lives. Your kidneys work quietly for you every day. Choosing better breakfast is a small step, but over time, it can make a very real difference. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.